What's up, y'all? It's your girl Ebony. I just came to answer a question about why it took me so long to get my CCHT. So I have technically been doing this about 4 years as far as being a patient care technician for hemodialysis. The reason it took me so long is because I left the floor. So if I back up, so I initially started my patient care technician journey in November 2018. Well, I left in, yeah, that makes sense. Well, I had to think about it. I left in, it was like, was it February? I want to say February of 2020. And then I came back, I want to say it was like April of 2021. So that is why it's like when it got tallied up, and I've been back since. So when it got tallied up, by someone helped me tally it up because I was like, huh? Like when it got tallied up, that's how it came up to about 4 years. And when I left, I didn't get my CCHT. So I also say this to say, listen, even if you like, you've done a year or more and you're like, man, forget this job, get your CCHT, get your certification, take that exam, pass that exam. And if you still want to leave, do your thing, but have that exam because you'll at least have it for like 3 years. And I'm sorry, yeah, my dog is like playing right now. Of course, she chooses not to play. Anyways, have that way you have it, because before I left, I had the opportunity to take it. And I should have took it. That way when I came back, as far as it came to like how much, monetarily, what I was going to get and all of that, like it wouldn't be, I don't know, it just wouldn't have been as like, it wouldn't have been a conversation. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Versus now, like, when I came back, after being gone for a year with the particular company I work with, they were like, oh, well, you have to start over, basically, as an inexperienced tech. Now, I didn't mind starting over because I had been gone for a year, and I was like, oh, Lord. And, we can make the job look easy after you do it for a while, but it's not that it's not, it doesn't get easy, but it is what's the word I'm looking for? Invasive job as far as like what we do with the patients. Like it is life or death, honestly, as far as how we care for them, because the way that you care for him determines their life or death, determines, I won't say necessarily their quality of life, because you can't like, I'm trying to use my words really wisely. You can't like make it to where if they've been on dialysis for 20 some years or 18 or 10, like you can't stop them from not being on dialysis anymore. The only way one way that you can hurt them though is with, let's say if they're AKI or if they got a kidney transplant and they just came back. AKI is acute. So basically that's when they're in their first 120 days of where the doctors are trying to see whether or not their kidney's going to kick back in. Like you can't hurt them within that period because you're not supposed to pull, you're only supposed to pull a certain amount off. And even if they just got a new kidney, you're only supposed to pull a certain amount off, or else you can basically damage the kidney and their kidney won't wake up. Because sometimes after they get a new kidney, they have to come back for a little bit for the kidney just to wake up, like for the body to like, all right, like tricycle, like get that thing rolling. So yeah, that's why it took me so long to get my CCHT. So I encourage anybody, if you're tired, because I left the floor the first time because I was exhausted and I was burnt out. And I also felt like, honestly, the way things were going, I was kind of in a toxic environment, and some of those people had left or were leaving or whatnot, but I still felt like I'm exhausted from that. And I didn't always show it, so people didn't really know it. So But like, that's exhausting to have to always like come into work and basically feel like people are against you, or like you fighting even without speaking. Like, spiritual warfare is real, okay? So it's just, that can get exhausting, and you just get tired of doing that from day in and day out, especially with a job that is already can be challenging. So if it's already challenging, like, why are you trying to add extra challenges? Like, or why are you trying to just be difficult? Like, you do you, I'm gonna do me. Like, you stay there, I'm gonna do this. But it's like, toxic environments are can be hard to deal with. So after certain people left that particular clinic that I was at, I was still tired. I was just like, you know what, I'm leaving this. And they was like, I remember one of my preceptors, he was like, you don't want to just take your CCHT? I was like, no, forget dialysis, forget this. And oh my God, when I tell you, when I went to be a patient account rep for billing or whatever, man, and this was before we got sent home because of COVID. Oh my gosh, I knew after that first day, I was like, crap, like, this is not it, but I'm gonna try to give it a chance. And it just still was not it. So I was like, and then when COVID hit, I ended up staying because I was home. I was trying to make it work, honestly. Like, okay, maybe I'm tripping. Like, maybe I don't need to go back. But then at the same time, I was like torn, because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I want to be in the trenches, because being on the floor is like being in the trenches. I mean, you know, billing is a whole nother beast, but still, like, being on the floor, which are like, that's being in the trenches. And I was like, man, I need to be in the trenches. So I mean, I came back a little bit before, I would say a year before basically COVID. They acted like it ain't out there no more. And where basically they, you know, at one point we're paying COVID pay, and which I want to say you get like $3 or $5 more an hour. And they were having COVID clinics, but after a year, so when I came back, excuse me, when I came back in 2021, then they weren't doing that anymore. Like, no, they stopped it at the end of the year. So especially like the beginning of 2022, it's like, all right, ain't no more COVID clinics, ain't no more COVID pay. Boom, that's it. And usually in the end of the year is kind of when they start evaluating and stop doing certain things that they were doing as far as financially or whatever with clinics. So yeah, I hope that answers the questions. If you guys have any more questions, let me know down below. Talk to y'all later. Bye.